Okay. If you saw my video number 3, that was on scriptures you'll never hear in church, and this that was related to some of the scriptures that tell you that you're supposed to be following the law, and um, this video here is kind of going to talk to some of the laws that just a handful of laws that people aren't aware of or they don't have understanding of. And I didn't really write them down. I'm just gonna off the top of my head kind of go through a few of them, just to pique your curiosity and give you some direction as to how to um, get a quick understanding of all the 613 laws. So, as I've mentioned before, we're supposed to be following the law, or at least we're supposed to be giving it our best attempt. And this is pretty much just a dress rehearsal for the kingdom of heaven. That's what this lifetime is, or the time that we're living in is a dress rehearsal to see who's going to come back to the laws and who isn't, basically. And the people that aren't, there's some spiritual things, underlying reasons. When people hear the word and they don't immediately snap in place, there's some underlying issues there that is between you and the Most High, Yahweh. Okay, so there's a scripture in Judges, and I did forgot to write the scripture down, but you can do a word search on it. Do a search on drawing water. So the scripture, and I'm kind of this is close to the wording, but it's not exact. In the places of those who will be saved from the noise of the drawing archers. Oh, excuse me. Those who will be saved from the noise of the archers in the place of drawing water. Um, the same will rehearse the righteous acts, and it goes on and some other stuff. So, it's basically talking. It ties into, if you looked at video number 2, where I talked about the Bible understanding being precept upon precept, line upon line. The wording in there, it ties into Revelations and other parts of the Bible. So the noise of the archers, that's related to the nuclear war that is prophesied to take place. So the archers basically shooting arrows, and those arrows being nuclear missiles. Um, the drawing water, that ties into Revelations, where it talks about the place of many waters, talking about Babylon and the spiritual Babylon. So anyway, take a look at that scripture, but just to, I guess, get into some of the laws. So some of the laws that I wasn't aware of, things like the land Sabbath, and all this ties into society today, and the ailments you see people have and the hard times you see on the earth, right? So um, uh, let's say, for example, you're supposed to wear 100% fabrics, so you should wear the 100% cottons, or 100% of whatever fabric you're wearing. And there's some reasons from a standpoint of your body and how it operates. sense that you should do that from a standpoint of, um, maybe ventilation, things of that nature. You're supposed to have a land Sabbath, so every 7 years you're supposed to not plant crops on your land and let the land rest, similar to the 7 day Sabbath that humans are supposed to have. And we don't, my understanding, farmers don't do that. They, plant crops every year in their fields. I think, I read somewhere, I think they rotate the types of crops, and then they got now genetically modified seeds, things of that nature. So, that which leads into why, why the earth isn't yielding its strength from a standpoint of production of food. So many other things. Everybody knows you're not supposed to eat pork, but also tied into the food. You're not supposed to eat catfish, shrimp, lobster, crabs, crawfish, squid, oysters. You're not supposed to eat any of that stuff, and I wasn't aware of that till I started digging into it. And it kind of makes sense once you think about it, because if you've ever had a child, your doctor would tell you not to give your child shellfish for the first 2 years, and because I guess their body could go into shock and it'll kill them. Right now, even at 2 years, their body can go into shock, but it's more manageable shock, and so there's a lot of stuff apparently in those foods that don't agree with your body, and it leads to a lot of the ailments that you see people have. Um,